How'd you get your name upside down, Yewan? What is that picture, Josh?
I think it's like 6 months now. So
That's whoa, that's really disturbing. Goodness, it's like a cross.
Really disturbing.
It's like a cross between Mr. T and Dumbledore.
이렇게 할 때마다 여기 있는 게 이게 구부러지가 않아가지고 계속 다시 빠져가지고.
there is something.
All right. Are you guys ready to share?
I'm not done yet. I'm confused about like when do I have like for research?
When you
From
have to what?
No, like for the research, I don't know from what like year I have to start writing the history about.
You're answering the question, why is there a country? How do you answer the question, why is there a Korea? How far back do you go to explain
that's my
why
question.
is there a Korea? Do you go back to the Korean War? Do you go back to the Three Kingdoms period? And I can't pronounce the names correctly. Do you go back to when the Korean language was invented with Sejong the Great? Do you go back to the story of Tangun? Do you go back to Adam and Eve? Or is Adam and Eve too far?
That's too far for anything.
Okay, so where did you start with this idea of Korea?
Early 18th century.
The 18th century is Korea?
I think it's 3 BC.
3 BC is Korea?
Oh, I guess.
What about the idea of Indonesia?
Never heard of
We
it.
might go back like 17th century.
Really? Okay, if you get out your Indonesian money and you open up the Indonesian money, you'll see a bunch of, Indonesians call it pahlawan kemerdekaan. Have you heard that phrase?
Yeah.
Heroes of the independence. Pahlawan kemerdekaan.
Oh,
You've heard that phrase?
no, I don't think so, but I know.
I've heard from the grade 9 history class that there are a lot of heroes of the Korean independence from Japan.
Yes.
Now, could you imagine the heroes of the Korean independence from Japan who did not speak Korean? Because the people that are involved in the independence of Indonesia from the Dutch and the Japanese, a lot of them did not speak Indonesian.
Really?
Pangeran Diponegoro spoke Javanese. I Gusti Ngurah Rai, he spoke Balinese. None of them spoke Indonesian. Kartini would have spoken more Dutch than she did Indonesian. So, where does the idea of Indonesia come from? Where does the idea of Monaco, where does the idea of Malta come from? Because that's all that countries are. They're an idea. If everybody in India said, okay, we're not going to have India anymore. We're going to have Gujarat, we're going to have Uttar Pradesh as a country, rather than having the whole thing, India as a country.
But
because that's only an idea. I mean, you could easily have Indonesia split up into
Finally.
I have a
Sorry?
question.
Yes.
Then for South Ossetia, it like claimed its independence in 2008. But do
All
I
right, sorry, just a minute. I'm going to mute everyone. I'm going to mute everyone, and then I'm going to let you turn yours back on. How do I turn off everybody's mute all? There we go. Allow participants to unmute themselves. Okay, unmute.
Okay. So it like claimed its independence at 2008. But do I have to go back to like the 13th century from like which part of the world they came from? No? Okay.
You don't have to go back all the way. You just want to go back enough to be able to explain why these countries are around today.
Okay.
There is no Prussia anymore, for example. So if you don't have a country like Prussia anymore, why does that not exist and a country like Malta does? So I'm going to start just arbitrarily from eeny, meeny, miny, mo, pick a Zoom participant by the toe. If they holler, let them go first. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Minza, what country are you doing?
I am doing San Marino.
Okay, tell us a little bit about why there is a San Marino.
Like San Marino is like the country that has lots of mountains. And it's near the ends of the Italy.
Yep.
Yeah. And as far as I researched, they say that they divided San Marino and Italy because they didn't really want the mountainside. Something about the mountains. Like,
Okay. I know that mountains are very, very, very defensible. It's very difficult to get across mountains. So if China ever wanted to invade India or India wanted to invade China, the Himalayas make a very natural boundary. So mountains and rivers are normally where you have the edge of a country.
So what I thought about is since that the mountains are hard to cross over,
Yep.
they just divided the lands with mountains and land without mountains so that that part of land will be defense.
Okay, well, let's have a look at that. I'm going to share the screen and we will have a look at Italy satellite image. Let's have a look at Italy. Or actually, let's go San Marino. Satellite image. Great. Ooh, is this Google Maps? Ooh, yes, we can just do Google Maps. Wonderful. So there's San Marino there. And we can see that it is inside Italy. Wow, so that's the size of San Marino. And that's the size of Rome. So it's about the same size as Rome. No, it's smaller than Rome, goodness. So you've got you can see the mountains going across here. Is there mountains around there? Yeah, I can see that the mountains become the edge of the property. There's a road in through there, there's a road in through there. Oh wow, that's actually a very defensible area. Look at that. There's like mountains going along this edge too. Like everywhere into San Marino, the edge of it is a mountain. Okay, that makes sense. This is interesting though, because this looks like there's a wall there. Can you see how there's kind of like no, it's not a wall. The edge of San Marino there. Where is Via Gregorio? Can I go to Street View? Can I get Street View there? Maybe that's not a mountain. Goodness, there's a lot more people on the inside of San Marino than the outside. Maybe it's not a mountain. Maybe those are just cities. That has to be a mountain there. Please let that be a mountain. That can't be anything else.
He's gone.
Street del Marano. Can I get Street View? Why can't I get Street View? Ooh. Get pictures. Where's this? Okay, so this is what, that's what you want to see. The edge of San Marino. Okay, so it's not very pleasant. I wouldn't want to climb over stuff like this to get into San Marino. Okay, so you've given me not a history reason, but you've given me a geography reason. This is one of the same reasons why Switzerland is a country and not part of the Habsburg Empire, which later became Germany. Switzerland goes to Germany.
I gave you the geographic reason because as like Kieran, I didn't know how far back I have to go to explain. And I didn't know how much you would expect me to research on that. And like, latest I can think of is like 13th century.
Is there somebody that says when San Marino becomes a country? Does someone say now?
I don't think so.
So I haven't seen yours handed in. Let's see.
What?
Monaco, Malta. So I've had 3 people hand in. Monaco, Josh, Elena, and Hyunjin have handed in.
What? Hand in what?
They've handed in their discussion post already. And they've started commenting on each other. So.
No, for the discussion post, I saved it for later because I realized that I'm out of information. And I don't really want to write a discussion post on this.
Okay. Did anybody else have Monaco? I mean, San Marino?
Caleb.
Who did?
Caleb.
Me?
Joey, you have San Marino as well.
Yes.
What is your reason for why San Marino exists?
For one reason, like, it's also an independent country, like Venetian city. Like, there's a lot of independent stuff.
There's a lot of independent stuff. Like curtains? What sort of stuff?
I don't really know about that one yet. I haven't.
I know they have a lot of treaties with Italy, but why they exist? I mean, who's the first person to found it? I mean, if you want to know who about America, you can't really talk about America without talking about Washington. You can't really talk about. You can't really talk about Indonesia with talking about Sukarno. At least the start of Indonesia. You can't really talk about the start of. It's another country that we know when it starts. Let's say Germany. You can't talk about the start of Germany without talking about Bismarck. What about England?
Queen.
No. Normally people start talking about England being England the last time it was taken over by the French, which was in 1066. So that's normally when people talk about this is when England started. Although England was around for a lot longer than that. You can go back to when it was a Roman colony. But it didn't really have the idea of we are English. It was still Londinium. It was still Hadrian's Wall. It was still part of the Roman Empire. It wasn't England yet. You can't think of a France. So France did not exist before Charles Martel. Is there a person that's connected with San Marino?
I don't
Roma?
know about that.
Wait,
Don't know?
Greece.
I would check. I would check if you can find someone who started San Marino, because normally it's related to a person or maybe even a family. I'm not sure if San Marino is an Italian merchant family like the Visconti or the Medici. Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna move on to another country. Monaco. Who's doing Monaco? People from Monaco. Sang-hoon?
Mr. Andrew, I don't have a country yet.
You don't? You weren't here last
Yeah.
time. What do you want to do?
I can do anything that's left.
But
Sang-hoon, you said
you
you want to
said
do
I will do
Monaco.
Monaco in your assignment that you turned in.
What?
I'm okay with you looking at Monaco. Did anybody else
Okay.
take Monaco? I think Hyunjun did Monaco, but he's not here right now. Is he calling on the thing to say where are we? Maybe he's got. Mr. Hendra, my Zoom isn't working. Okay, so he is who's Nana Bananas? It says none of you. Maybe it's not your particular group. I can't tell who that is.
That's probably Elena, I think.
It's Anna and Elsa giving a hug underneath this.
That's Elena.
That's mine. That's mine. That's mine. That's mine.
That's yours? Okay, you're in then. Okay. Okay, I don't know where, I haven't got anything from Hyunjun asking to get in.
Bro, so embarrassing.
Sorry. Okay, so if you're not ready to do Monaco yet, Sang-hoon, we'll move on to someone else. Is anybody doing Malta? Okay.
I'm doing Malta.
Okay, tell me, how did Malta start?
Actually, Malta started during the 1964s, like around the 90s, 1960 late-ish. They're actually, it's very interesting actually. The capital city is Valletta, is it? Yeah, it's Valletta, and it was discovered by Grand Master of the Order of St. John.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it actually, the capital of Malta, Valletta, was actually named by the founder. It was like St. John Jean Parisot de la Vallette, so they say it's like Valletta, something like that.
Okay. So, do you know anything about the Order of St. John?
St. John actually just said like that where I have been like researching from, and so far they just say when it started, how it was founded, and the city like that. And I also found out that St. Paul actually went to a shipwreck, and he actually went to Malta and preached and sent Christianity to Malta.
That's a fantastic bit of history about the island of Malta. Do you remember what happened on that island?
I've heard of it. I heard that St. Paul actually went to some synagogue and just like preached, hey,
No. He was being taken to Rome on a prison ship.
Oh yeah.
The prison ship, and the prison ship gets shipwrecked, and he says everybody must stay on the boat. Don't jump off. We'll all be saved if we stay on the boat. The boat gets rammed into the beach. They manage to all survive and get off the beach. They get off, survive the storm. And then they say, "Oh yeah, he's a man of God." And then he starts picking up wood.
Wood.
And then what happens? Out of the wood comes a.
It says here.
What makes that sound?
Snake.
Yes, he gets bitten by a snake as he's picking up wood. And everybody goes, "Oh man, he must have been a bad dude. He's going to die now." And he kind of just takes the snake off, throws it on the ground, and then keeps carrying firewood and doesn't die. That all happened on the island of Malta.
Yeah. And did you know that when the Arabs conquered Malta, they actually influenced the language of Malta?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can believe that.
And Yeah, and in the 860 AD, the Normans, the Aragonese, and other conquerors who ruled over Sicily also governed Maltese islands.
Okay, so do we count Malta as being its own country? Like that it has, is it a country when Paul's there? Is it a country when the Normans go there? By the way, when you say Normans, this is Proto-French. People from the French area that are not yet French. When nobody spoke French except maybe in Paris.
Oh, so those are the Normans.
Normans are French, or Franks, or Lombards.
Okay.
Barbarians with mustaches.
Yeah, and for my own opinion, I think this is a good place to discover one day that I could finally see the beauty of this island and other sights to see.
Yeah, I understand. But why is it a country now? I mean, you have countries that are gone now. I mean, in just north of here, there's a city called Singosari.
Yeah.
That's the name of a kingdom. There was the kingdom of Singosari. Kerajaan Singosari. It was so widespread. It was a powerful kingdom in this region. It conquered territory up to and including lower portions of the Philippines. Ruled from just north of Malang. You had a kingdom that went to the Philippines. Yes, that's the kingdom of Singosari. Why is that not around now? Why is Malta around and yet Singosari is not?
Because maybe like Malta is like I have this word but I can't explain it. It's like Malta is a very small island city, right? It could be that maybe like the British, I researched, like I heard British conquered also most of the Malta islands, and so maybe that's become popular.
Right. So it was part of Britain, the same way Canada and Australia and America were all parts of Britain. And I mean, there's an area just, never eat soggy Wheaties. There's an area west of Malta called Gibraltar. Have you heard of Gibraltar?
Is that a place? I haven't heard of it.
It's a place. So if you look up Gibraltar,
Bro.
I'm just going to compare. This is just a comparison thing here. Open, share. Let's go look up Gibraltar. Gibraltar. So Gibraltar is this tiny little section just south, just on, it's called the Rock of Gibraltar. Now the Rock of Gibraltar technically it's kind of in Spain. See that's Gibraltar there. And that's Spain. Okay?
It's like right in the peninsula.
It's right in this area that controls the Straits of Gibraltar. So if you want to get in and out of this area, it's actually much easier if you can control this area. You can see all this area, this part of Gibraltar is all for a shipyard. Well, this is what the British controlled for a long time. This is still part of Britain.
Oh wow.
This is part of Britain. Right here you can see a part of Britain. It used to be Arab because you can see a Moorish castle was built on there. This is the Rock of Gibraltar. Now, if I go over here and I look at Malta, it's just as small in the middle of the Mediterranean, right in the middle. So this is very useful. It was taken by the Moors, it was taken by the French, it was taken by the British, and the British controlled it for over 100 years. Why is this its own country, and this is still part of Britain?
Um,
Interesting question.
maybe like Malta, maybe they found like in Malta. Ooh, there is like this rich land. Look at this small country. Not
So
country.
small.
Yeah.
I actually
So
have no
small.
idea if Gibraltar or Malta is bigger. Let's have a look at the area of Malta and have a look at the area of Gibraltar. Because I'm actually not sure if there is a huge difference in area. Come on, go back. Go back. Get out of there. There we go. I just want to look at let's go up here and have a look at the area. That's history of Malta. No, that's not what I want. I want the area. 316 square kilometers is Malta. 6.7 kilometers. That's tiny. Okay, so Malta is much bigger than Gibraltar. You have its own economy. Gibraltar has, what's the population of Gibraltar? Andalusian, British. There are population 30,000 people in Gibraltar. That's amazing. And Malta has about 500,000. Okay, so there's a lot more Maltese. Anyway, I would love to know why Malta is its own country and somewhere like Gibraltar isn't, when the British controlled both.
Because
I'm not asking you to answer now. I'm just asking you the question so you start thinking about how you're going to do the research.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's called a rhetorical question. It's one to get you to think and start planning. What is my next step going to be? If you can find any famous Maltese people, that might help you find out the history. History's normally got to do with people. All right. Who has another country?
What?
You had Liechtenstein, didn't you, Josh?
Yes.
What's the history of Liechtenstein?
Wait, let me check. Right. So like 17th century. No, maybe maybe 60. Yeah, maybe 16th centuries of Vadas and Schellenberg. Yeah, these two countries are actually a Holy Empire, Roman Empire. They like found together, but maybe like they want to get that land, so they were kept fighting, and then the guy named Joseph Adams, who is a prince of Joseph Adam Liechtenstein, purchased both of them.
Okay. Making it complete. So it was bought.
Yeah,
Someone bought the land?
Yeah. At first, it was nothing.
Okay.
Nobody.
So that you understand a little bit about this, Josh, this is really interesting because it talks about Emperor Karl VI. Now, Emperor Karl VI would have been the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. Now, I'm going to show you a little image here. This might be a bit strange. Holy Roman, actually German, Holy Roman Empire. I want to get a map.
Confusing.
There we are. If I go to images, it should show me there. These are the countries of Europe. Actually, it's a Wikipedia page. Interesting. These are the countries of Europe. Every single little one of those little bits is a country.
Oh.
These were the size of the countries in Europe before you had a Germany. There were over 1,000 tiny little countries in Germany before it became Germany.
Wow.
Every single little one of these countries would have belonged to one family. So it would have been a knight and his retinue and his family. You would have had all these people have different allegiances and they'd have their own kingdoms. I mean, this one here is really large. This, I think, is Prussia. I wonder if there's a better picture. Is there a better picture? Can I search for this? might actually go to it. Let's see if there's a better picture of it. It's a lovely little picture, actually. Let's see if I can't find. Okay, here we go. If I go here and I go more details, I should be able to get a better picture. I want one that is much bigger. Let's go 2000. There we are. That's much better. So you have all these places that have the names of these little countries. So I'm gonna see if I can recognize it. So that's the Brandenburg Markgrafschaft. And now let's see if we can find Liechtenstein. Now Liechtenstein's over here somewhere, isn't it? What are the two countries called that had the problem?
Vaduz and Schellenberg. It's like close to Switzerland and Austria.
Down here. So you have this. Oh, that's already into the water. This area here, I think, is where you had the cantons of Switzerland. I think. Where's the? Ah, here we go. This is the Switzerland area. Swiss. Yes. Okay, so it's down in this area.
Oh, okay.
Oh goodness, that's too much. That's too much. That's too much. Where's that lake? That's already in there. Ah, okay. Here's Switzerland. What was the name of the place again?
Liechtenstein.
Yeah, Liechtenstein. What are the two?
Oh, Austria. Sorry, Austria.
I'm looking for the name of the two places. It's Vaduz and Schellenberg. Let's have a look at Schellenberg. Where is it? Alta Schellenberg. It's a name first.
Oh wait.
Banks of the Rhine. So it's on the Rhine River. I was thinking that it was up towards the north. So this is the Rhine. Is that the Rhine? Yeah, this is the Rhine. So the Rhine is this separation between, is it that one? Can't be.
Berg.
Let's see if I can find it. Liechtenstein on a map. See if we can find it on a map. Because the idea of it connecting two particular spots, it's right over there. So it's north of Switzerland, or just a little bit north of Switzerland. Vaduz and Schellenberg, so it's around here somewhere. Oh goodness. Lichtberg. Lichtberg? Could that be it?
Oh my.
Strasbourg? Lanza, Lothringen, Blankenberg, Giffert, Schallen. It might even be one of the smaller ones that I can't even read in there.
Hafstorp.
Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make is every single one of these is a country.
Oh.
This is the way that Germany was before.
Why is it suddenly black?
Because somebody was coloring it. This is the way Europe was before you had the unification of Germany. Europe, if you wanted to memorize all the countries in Europe, it would be very difficult. Can you get rid of the white thing, please? Like I think on this you might still be able to see places like Monaco and San Marino. There. So Monaco's still there. It's one of these little countries that survived. These ones did not.
I thought Liechtenstein also survived. Because it's a small
Liechtenstein
country.
also survived. But you can see here you've got San Marino over. Where's the little annotate button? You've got little San Marino here as well. That survived. Why do these places survive? And the rest of them don't?
Because they're small.
But wouldn't it be easier to have, do you think it's better to have a Germany, like one Germany, or to have all of this? Is it better to have one Germany or have this?
German.
I mean, it's easier. I personally like having a Germany instead of this because it makes it a lot easier to memorize the countries of Europe. I can just go, yeah, that's German, rather than all these tiny, tiny little countries. if you were a member of somebody in Germany, and you go, I'm from, let's say, Holstein, Schleswig-Holstein. That's not. Let's go to a place that you might recognize. There should be an area that's like Bavaria, and you would recognize being a member of Bavaria. Actually, wait, this is interesting. So Vogtland here is the yellow bit, and there's also yellow there and yellow there. That's one country. It's separated out. Yes, it's separated out into all these bits. That's one yellow country, all split up. And this is what happens when you have knights and feudalism and all that sort of stuff. And you say, hey, yes, I'm going to give you this country to be your kingdom and this country to be your kingdom. Oh, that person died, I'm going to give you that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay?
Yeah.
So it's going to be one of those sort of situations. Why on earth Liechtenstein did not get subsumed into the German Empire, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you to do the research. Why is Liechtenstein not part of Germany? Why is Monaco not part of Italy? Why is San Marino not part of Italy? And it's very difficult to answer these questions. I'm not lying to you. This is one of those puzzlements. Why are these places by themselves? Yeah, Juan, what did you choose to do?
I chose Andorra.
Andorra? Who else is doing Andorra? Okay, tell me about Andorra.
No, I researched it, but it was always like about geography things, like it became a country. I couldn't find history about it.
Like there's no date when it became its country?
Wait a second.
You can share screen if you want. I'm looking it up as well because I'm really curious. There should be something that tells you where it came from.
It was like, oh, Wikipedia and something like that. So
Okay.
I
So
really
yes, but if you go to something like the first and second paragraphs feudal charters, this is. Could it be that somebody just forgot? UNESCO doesn't have it. Doesn't load.
wait. Actually,
Hi, darling. I'm in a Zoom at the moment. No, I'm going to do my second Zoom, then I'm coming home. Bye. Okay. Why are these not being found? There is this article called the first and second paragraphs of Andorra. Paragraphs of Andorra. Let's just look that directly into Google and see if we can. Ah, here we go. That's a Wikipedia page. World Digital Library. That's interesting. Okay, so this is like their Declaration of Independence for Andorra. And they still have a copy of it, goodness. Look at that. Can you see that, Chloe? Wait. Who's doing Andorra again?
me.
Okay, can you see this?
Yeah.
This is the document that
That's
basically
so-
says this: you are now Andorra.
That is so old.
Is that so? Oh, wait, sorry.
1278. 1278, goodness. I don't even think bacon was invented in 1278.
Oh,
That's a long time ago. It's a long donkey time ago. The document presented here is known as the Primer Paritage de Andorra, signed by Pere de Uch, Bishop of La Sieur-Gurgel, also seen as Sieur de Urgel, and Roger Bernard, Count of Foix, and Viscount of Castelbo, written in Latin. So they hadn't even started using French. Oh, wow, that's old. It's not in French. It's not in Spanish. It's still in Latin. It's still in the language of the Roman Empire.
That's really cool.
The agreement settled the respective rights of the two sovereigns over the valleys of Andorra, as well as resolved other matters of dispute. The first pariage was inscribed in the period of peace that followed the early agreement to conclude.
Mr. Hendro,
Yeah.
Andorra is not included in the European Union.
Is it included in the Schengen?
Excuse me?
Okay, so the European Union is an economic union,
Nope.
generally. But there is another thing called the Schengen. And the Schengen is like a freedom to travel between it. Let's just actually check.
I stop.
Control copy. I'm just going to add this to the. I just want to add this to the chat. Come on. I'm just going to add that little item for Andorra there, so you can get where this is like the Declaration of Independence of Andorra. And
Andorra is not in the Schengen.
It's not in the Schengen, so you can't just go in.
Yup. Wait, not yet, not yet. Wait.
Andorra Schengen visa explained.
It does not say Andorra.
That could be interesting. So it might
Only
be
a country is Austria. So no Andorra. Huh?
During the Schengen area, non-EU nationals need to present a travel visa relative to long as for their visit. Citizens or resident EU Schengen, blah, blah, blah. Andorra's assumption remain necessary to pass through border control. Okay, so it just means if you go in, it just means that it's so Andorra is not part of the Schengen district, Schengen area. The Schengen area is this weird, agreement that there is no border controls for countries in Europe. That means that if you want to go from France to, from France to Spain, you don't have to show your passport. You don't have to show your passport in Europe when you're traveling between European countries.
So it's a free country, or?
You can walk all the way from Portugal, all the way through Spain, France, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, Denmark.
There's a train, right? There's like a train, right?
You can go through all these trains and they don't check your passport. It used to be that when you were on these trains, you had to take out your passport as you were traveling over the border, and somebody would just stamp your passport as you were in the train. But they've just now said, since the European Union's been around, they've said, yep, you just get your passport stamped. I'm in Europe.
What about Andorra?
Andorra is not part of that. You need to get a separate stamp and border control and present your passport to get into Andorra.
I heard French people buying like their groceries in Andorra because there's like no tax.
Do you want to know what's weirder? In places like Slovakia and Slovenia, people will go over the border to buy stuff in those countries and then drive back to Germany because it's cheaper to do your shopping in other countries.
Just because of that?
Well, if you're not going to get taxed or have any restrictions going over the border, then yeah, why not? I mean,
there's no restrictions. Why is there even a border? It's not like, okay, there's like a border.
They will have different methods of raising tax. So their tax systems, I think, are slightly different. There's also, I mean, this might be the most important part of it. You have to know which soccer team you're for.
Wait, what?
You have to know which soccer team you barrack for. I'm kidding. That's not the most important part. That joke fell flat. I'm terribly sorry. I'm terribly sorry. Please don't laugh at me.
What I miss?
Girl, are we allowed to leave now?
Has anybody not done a little bit on their country?
Wait, but I have a question about South Ossetia.
About San Lucia?
No,
Oh,
about
South Ossetia.
Yep.
Ah, South Ossetia is really interesting.
Can I do a screen share for a second?
Pardon?
Can I do a screen share for a second?
Yes, go for it.
Wait, hang on. Wait, it's not working. In here,
Yes.
it says like after several outbreaks of violence, but what does that supposed to mean?
It means there's a war.
But it doesn't talk about the war, so I don't know what
The violence is the war. There was fighting going on in Ossetia.
Why though? Oh, because he wants to be independent?
No. Russia doesn't want Georgia to be independent.
What?
Okay, so south of Russia is a little country called Georgia. Georgia said, we're independent of Russia. And Russia says, I don't want you to be independent of Russia. I want you to be part of Russia. And a little part of Georgia is South Ossetia, and South Ossetia wants to be part of Russia. So there's a part, if you had somebody say, I'm going to split Wesley in two. I'm going to split them in two. I'm going to have the Korean section of Wesley, and I'm going to have the non-Korean section of Wesley. I'm going to split them up. But there are some people in this Korean part that aren't quite wanting to do the split. They want to go back. Let's say Joey, Yehwan, they're not 100% there. They still want to go back to their original. And the Russians don't like that happened. So they are giving money and support to the South Ossetians to keep fighting the Georgians and say, you should come back to Russia. In fact, this is what happened with Crimea.
Wait, what?
So, can you clear that, please?
Guys, stop.
Can you stop sharing the screen, and I'm going to open up something to share myself.
Okay. Wait, how do you stop sharing?
There's like something on the top that's red. Just click that.
Oh yeah.
I'll just do that. I'll stop your screen share. I have control to do
I
that.
did it.
Okay. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to show you another place called Crimea.
Bro. Oh, crime.
Crimea.
Oh.
Now, if I can show you this place called Simferopol and Sevastopol. So this whole area here is Ukraine. You will note that there is a dotted border here. Can you see that dotted border?
Oh yeah.
So this area here is Crimea. This Crimean area, some people say is a different country. Some people will say it's part of Ukraine.
Oh.
Do you think it's a separate country or part of Ukraine?
I bet only Ukraine people say that.
Well, here's the thing. When Russia invaded Crimea, do you know what the people of the Crimean area did?
No.
They said, come on in! We've got hotels ready for you.
Why didn't they surrender?
They did surrender. They just said, yes, we want to be part of Russia again. Come on in.
Oh, okay. I think.
We like being Russian. We like being Russian. Please come in, make us more Russian. Okay, so the country actually went. The country of Ukraine had there was some other problems as well, but basically what happened is this southern area, which is connected to Russia here, you can actually go. So this is Russia here. They can move in there. So they went across this bit, and people say they invaded Crimea, but it was fairly popular. It was like 70% of the population wanted Russia to come in and separate them from Ukraine.
Oh wow.
But, but
Wait, they wanted to be part of Russia, not Ukraine?
yes.
Oh.
Do you think that there are sections of North Korea that want to be part of South Korea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Some of
Do
them
you
even
think
move
if these
out.
people could have South Koreans come in and take them back into South Korea that they would want that?
Yeah.
Right. That's what these Crimeans wanted. That's exactly the same situation as you have in Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. Where is it? Where's Georgia?
나도 이거 좋아하는데.
Clear all drawings. Where is it?
나도 좋아해.
Where is Georgia? There we go. Okay. So this also is a similar sort of region. This is Georgia.
아빠 그거.
This is Georgia here. And you can see that this area of South Ossetia, this bit here wants to be more Russian. They like Russia.
Oh.
Why? Is it because they're big countries? So?
Why would you want to be part of a country? What makes you want to be part of a country?
If you don't like the country you're in right now.
Right.
Power.
If you have a leader like Kim Jong-un, do you want to be part of North Korea?
The news say Kim Jong-un is very sick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's in
Because he
surgery.
didn't attend his grandfather's birthday event.
So Kim Jong-un is sick, is he?
Yeah, he's having surgery.
He's almost dead.
Who becomes the president of North Korea?
They don't know.
Student?
Maybe
Some kind of
he's
student.
related.
I reckon this would be a good time for North Korea to join South Korea.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, there's no possible way you're going to get worse economic problems if they join South Korea because there's already the coronavirus stopping everything.
Yeah.
Where are you guys? There you are. It'd be like if you had this one little area, like, what if this area here wanted to become part of South Korea? Would you let them?
If the North Koreans live
No, that's just it. If what's happening is that this area might want to, and Russia is actually actively helping them try and become there and fight against the people in their own country. And one of those things is they say, we recognize you as your own country.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why don't the Russians call South Ossetia part of Russia? But why does it call it independent if it wants it to be part of Russia?
That's a good question as well. My knowledge of the politics in this region are actually really, really sketchy. I know that there has been problems there, and I know that it has to do with Russia, but I'm not sure why exactly they want it that way. It could be, and this is my theory here. This is in the Caspian area, so the Caspian Sea here. This area has a lot of oil. It may be that they just want better trading with that area to get the oil. Does that make sense? I'm not sure. That's why I said you'll have to look up some of this stuff.
Okay. Wait.
Okay. Does anybody else have another country that I haven't talked about?
Wait, are we allowed to leave now?
Yes, you may. If you want to keep talking with me, that's fine.
Bye. Thank you.
Okay. I hope you've got a better idea. I hope you've got a better idea for your discussion post.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.